Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to have you guys here with me today on the Master Passive Income Show. Now, today we're going to be talking about getting financing and basically being able to fund your rental properties or really anything in your business. Now, today I have a special guest. His name is Mike Banks, and he works for Fund and Grow. It's a company that's going to help us to finance our properties, finance our business. So, Mike, thank you so much for being here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Dustin. Really excited to talk about business credit lines and how people can use them in their real estate business.
Awesome. So tell us a little about yourself and working with Fund and Grow and a little bit about Fund and Grow.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you a breakdown overview of what we do. And so I've been with the company for about 8.5 years now. The company's been around over 10 years. We've done over 600 million, doing about 12 to 15 million every month in new business credit lines that we establish, primarily for real estate investors who are looking to do flips. Some of them are trying to buy rental properties as well. Actually, we have a large percentage of clients that are buying rental properties, distressed properties, fixing them up, placing a tenant, and then getting the cash flow, and then refinancing out of the credit line. So we do all the work for our clients. We're a completely done for you service. Everything that we apply for, everything that we set up for our clients is business credit lines at zero interest with an average of 12 months. And we also set up an entity as well. So if someone's just starting out with real estate or they haven't set up their business yet, doesn't disqualify you. Really, all that you need is a good credit score, and then we can apply. And within 2 weeks, you can have up to $150,000 in your hands that you can do whatever you want with. And like I think I mentioned, it doesn't show up on your personal report, which is a really big benefit. A lot of people like that because a lot of people are using their personal cards and bringing balances up, maxing their cards out and bringing their scores down, which really isn't ideal. You should put the business expenses onto business credit. And that's something that we really focus on. So that's kind of an overview of, who we are. We're on the Inc. 5000 list 4 years in a row, so we're growing steadily. We have a lot of really good reviews online, over 1,500 reviews online. So we're the real deal. We really care about our clients, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So, this is what we do, and we're kind of the experts in the industry. A lot of the other companies out there don't really get the same numbers we get when it comes to business credit. So we kind of set ourselves apart in the industry because we're doing a lot of the the legwork for the client. We don't tell the client to do anything, and that separates us as well. So we're able to get more consistent approvals at higher limits because we do about 12 to 15 million, like I was saying, through the banks. We're bringing a lot of volume. So when we have a client, we're able to get on the phone with the decision maker and say, hey, look, this client deserves 50,000, 100,000, whatever the case is, based on the personal credit score and credit history. And by doing that process, we're able to get our clients a lot more than what they're going to be approved for on their own, or if they were going to go with another company who just submits a bunch of applications and kind of crosses their fingers. That's not what we do. We take the bull by the horns and we get on the phone and make sure every application is reviewed by a human being.
I love that. I absolutely love not using your own personal credit, but using your own business credit. And you said you would also set up the business for the person that's applying too?
Yeah, exactly. So if they don't have an entity, an LLC or anything like that, we'll set one up for them. And that's not going to slow anything down as long as they have good credit. Ideally scores over a 730 with a couple credit card accounts open, major bank credit cards, not just store cards. If they have that type of a profile, it's got some history there. It's not brand new, maybe a $5, $10, $15,000 card, not maxed out. With that type of a profile right there, we can push them right to applications and get them funding within 2 weeks. Typically people get between 40 to 80,000 in the first round of funding in 2 weeks. Some people get 90, 100, all the way up to 150,000. But when I say 40 to 80, that's where most people fall. And then we repeat that process 3 times over the 12 months. Hang on one second. I got to turn this light on real quick. I just realized one of my lights wasn't on. Sorry about that. There we go. That's
good.
So yeah, 3 rounds of funding over the 12-month membership. We get up to 250,000, sometimes more than that. We had a client couple that went through the program. We applied for the husband and the wife, and we got $280,000 in the first round in the first month of working with us. That's not typical, but it's possible to get a lot in a short period of time. But like I said, most people are around 40 to 80,000 per person in the first 2 weeks. Excuse me.
So
Did I answer your question?
yeah, you did. Now, in a minute, I wanted you to walk us through the process to actually get it. But the question comes up in my mind, or two things really quickly. Number one, what type of interest rate are we looking at? But number two, because obviously it's a business interest or a business credit, so it's going to be different than a normal, like, people might think of a home loan. Oh, it's 3 or 4% right now. So I know it's going to be different than that. So number one is the
Totally.
type of rate, but then also, how do they know? Is it by need, or how much you ask for how much you can actually borrow? If it's 280,000 or just 40,000, how do you know, or how can you get? Let's say a company wants $100,000. How do you get them to that? So the rate, and then how they get them to the total dollar amount.
Okay, so we just need to know a couple things about your credit in order to pre-qualify you and tell you, okay, based on your limits, your balances, your score, the amount of history, how many years you've been using credit, the fact that there's no late payments or no negatives on your report. So we'll evaluate all that stuff. We'll just be on a phone call, just asking questions like, what's your score? How many cards do you have? What banks are they with? What are your limits? What are your balances on those cards? Do you have any new cards? Do you have any inquiries? Do you have any negatives? All right. Well, based on what you're telling me, you've got a $10,000 and a $20,000 card. Your balances are around 35%. So you're in pretty good shape. You don't have a bunch of brand new credit cards in the last month or whatever. So based on that, I'd say you pre-qualify for about 60 to 80,000. Now, if someone tells me that they've only got, a $1,000 card, and it's with Best Buy, that's all they got, but they still have a 730, but they only have that one store credit card. And maybe they have one other major bank card with like a $3,000 or $4,000 limit, something real limited, right? That's a limited profile, what I just explained. So in that case, they're going to come in a lot lower on the pre-qualification. So that's kind of how it works. It goes off of the history, the strength of the overall credit profile. We look at that, and then we tell them what they can expect. And then if they want to become a client, then we start that process. And we usually do that over the phone, or they could do it themselves online. And once they become a client, now, once they've made that commitment, within 2 days, we're going to do a full credit review, and we're going to get back to them with a much more of a clear pre-qualification. So, initially, like right now or on a sales call, we're not always reviewing the credit report. But once they become a client, we do that right away. Within 2 days, we get back to people and we say, hey, we reviewed your credit. Here's the plan of action. You're good to go. We think we're going to get you 70 to 80,000, 40 to 50, whatever it is. And we're going to apply to XYZ banks. And we're going to call you tomorrow, because we're submitting your applications tomorrow at 3:00. And we're going to go over everything with you more in depth. So that's kind of the process. They get started. They go to the link that we're going to have in the description first, pre-qualify there, get on the phone with somebody from our office. And then once they decide from there, if they want to move forward, they'll get started as a client. We'll do the full review, let them know the exact plan of action, and then we'll have them move forward to applications really quickly. And they could have the credit in their hands within 2 weeks from that starting day. And they don't have to do anything other than sign up, give us some info. We do the rest. And this isn't bait and switch in any way. We do all of it. They don't have to call. They don't have to do any of that stuff. All we want them to do, or all we need them to do, is sign up and fill out the info in their client login, sign the simple e-documents. And that's really it. I mean, I could even show everybody if you want me to show people the page that they're going to go to.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's show us what it's going to look like from going to the website, and how we're going to get started to get this whole process going.
Okay. So you can see my screen now,
sure,
right?
Sure can.
Sweet. Okay, so this is the link right here. We're going to put it in the description. It's going to be fundandgrow.com/D as in Dustin, Heiner, Heiner, funding. Put that into your toolbar, and then you'll end up at this page that you're looking at right here. Okay.
And a big reason why we're going to use this specific URL, and it'll be in the description as well, in the show notes, is because you're going to be able to get $500 off the entire process of going through everything with Fund and Grow. So I wanted to work out a good option for you to get started and save you guys money.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the page that you'll end up at. You just put your name in. You then fill out your info, and then you choose your credit score range, right? So if I'm not sure where I'm at, then I should probably choose one of these lower ones if I'm not sure at all. But if you're thinking you're around a 700, maybe you got a 750 last time you checked, then you'll choose one of these two. Just try to use your best judgment. Most people know where their credit score is at nowadays with Credit Karma, even though Credit Karma usually inflates the score and makes you think your credit's better than it is. Most people have a general idea of where they're at. So that's all it is. Choose that, fill out that info. And then once you do that, you'll get to see a short video on the back end of that page. You can watch that video. It talks about hard money versus business credit lines and just gives you ideas as to why, it's good to use business credit lines. And then in the back end of the video, if you want to watch the webinar, you'll be able to watch our webinar as well. So that's pretty much the process. And then once you fill out that form, someone's going to give you a call and we'll go over everything with you. We'll say, all right, what are your limits? What are your balances? What types of cards are they? Any late payments, any brand new accounts, any bankruptcies, charged off accounts? We'll get all that info from you real quickly on a phone call. And then once you decide to take the plunge and get started with us, you can end up like one of these many, many people who go through the program and leave reviews because they enjoy working with us. We deliver on what we say we're going to do. That's just how we work. So look, here's a good example. This one says, help me achieve 80,000 on my third batch of funding, 3 rounds of funding, 143,000. So like I said, some people get up to 250. Sometimes they get more than that. It all depends on their credit coming in. But we're getting people anywhere from, 30,000 all the way up to 175,000 in the first round of funding. And then we repeat that process 3 times over the 12 months. And that's how people are coming through and getting these types of results. So I just want to bring that up and show you guys 800 reviews on our Google Plus. That's not easy. 4.9, you go and look up anything and that's a very good reputation right there. So that just goes to show you that, we know what we're doing and we care about people. We have almost 40 employees here. Had to buy a new office building, about $1 million building we just bought here in Florida. So we're growing, we're steadily growing. We do really care about our clients. We have a great team here. They're all very sincere, positive minded type people. And you'll see that if you decide to book a call with us.
I love how you made it so that it's so simple, because if you go through I don't know, Lending Tree or something, like an online company to try to get a loan, you have to put in so much information, but you guys are doing all the work. You're trying to make it as easy on us as possible because it takes a lot of work getting all this stuff and you guys are doing all of it for us. That's correct?
Yeah, we do all of it for you guys. It's a totally done for you service. And I actually mean that. This isn't going to be something that turns into us just giving you videos and telling you to call and telling you to do it. Not at all. We do all of it. We actually have a team here. We call them the account managers. What they do is they negotiate each account, each application. They're on the phone with the underwriter and they make sure that you get approved at the maximum amount possible. And they're really motivated to do so because they get a commission based on the amount that they increase your credit line. And they get bonuses as well. Every department's getting bonuses.
The next question comes up in my mind would be, what type of term? Like, how long is it going to be for? Is it a 5-year? Is it a 30-year? Because we're all used to mortgages and, 15, 20, 30-year mortgages are normal for us. But what type of term are we going to get with this type of loan?
So what's cool about these is there's 0 interest for an average of 12 months. Some of them are 15, some of them are up to 21 months. But most of them are an average of 12 months and that's at 0 interest. So, obviously that's a big benefit right there. But then after that rate, well, here's the deal. We do 3 rounds of funding throughout the membership. So what we're doing is we're getting you a new round of funding the first month, and then we do it again 6 months later, and then we do it again at the end of the membership. So each time we do that and we get you more credit, it's all 0 interest. So you're getting new 12-month offers. And so we're able to merge the accounts. We're able to move balances over to the 0 interest bearing account. So we basically can we try to help you guys extend the amount of time that you have it at 0 interest rather than just applying to 20 applications up front and then just sending you on your way. It's not really the best way to do it. It doesn't really help the client very much when you do it that way. So we do it throughout the 12 months. We apply for a small amount each time we apply, and we get them all approved. And that allows you to keep it at zero interest for as long as possible. And then after that, the rate does go up to 12 to 16% on average is what we're seeing. But they're still open. They're revolving accounts. You don't have to close them down. You don't have to pay them back by any certain period of time. Just know that the zero interest per account is going to last X amount of time. So if you're going to do a flip, obviously the flip, it shouldn't take you more than a year. So you got plenty of time to do at least one flip and do it all with zero interest credit. And if you compare that to a hard money loan, it's definitely cheaper. It really is. Like, you could basically send a wire transfer from the credit line directly to the title company, and they put the money into escrow, and all that'll cost you is 2.75%. So if you're going to do a $100,000 deal, you want to send that money from the credit line to the title company so that you can close on a cash deal, like a cash buyer. It's pretty easy to do. You just set up an account with plastic.com with a Q, and then you add the title company as a pay to account. And then you charge a card, they send the wire. It costs you 2.75%, which is $2,700 on $100,000. And that's all it costs you to send the money to the title company. And now you're closing on that deal. You get it rehabbed, list it, sell it. I know a lot of people on this video, though, might be thinking more from like a passive income rental mindset, right?
Yeah.
Which is still applicable. It's just a different exit. So instead of doing the flip and getting your money back once you sell the house, instead you fix the house up, and then, or maybe it's already fixed up, and then you place your tenant, and then you get the house refinanced into a long-term investment mortgage, and then you can repeat the process. And I have 2 college students actually I just interviewed. That's what they did. They bought a property. They bought 2 properties from one of my affiliates. We got them the credit. They sent the wire transfer, closed on the deal, got the house rehabbed. Now they have tenants in both houses, and they're getting the houses refinanced, and they're moving on to do another deal. And we've got a ton of people doing
that. That sounds amazing. And so a lot of the students that I have, when I start working with them, a lot of it comes around financing is where they start getting in more of a hitch. And it sounds like Fund and Grow is a great option to get started. Now, if people might say, well, it costs this or it costs that, like how much it costs to actually use Fund and Go. But if you're going to get a mortgage, you're going to have to pay out money. And what's great I like about Fund and Grow is you have readily access to cash. When I buy houses with cash, I get better deals, I get faster deals, I save more money, and I close better, and sellers actually want cash. And so this is just like being able to do that. Now, when you're accessing this line of credit, is it a credit card? Is it a checking account, or how does it work out?
Yeah, so it's basically it's a business credit card, but because you can send the wire transfer, so if let's say you have a HELOC, you can even send that money from the credit line to pay on your HELOC, and you can overpay your HELOC, and now you can draw cash right off the HELOC that way. So yeah, these are business credit cards, but like I said, you can send the wire transfer. You can also send a check to any place that you want to send it to, and that costs 2.5%. So for a wire, it's 2.75%, and then for a check, it's 2.5%. And then a lot of these accounts will have zero interest on balance transfers. So in some cases, you'll be able to balance transfer and utilize the funds that way. But the cool thing is that it's easy to get approved for these. It's not like going and getting a loan or a traditional line of credit where it's much harder to get. You have to have financials and tax returns and all that in order to get those types of loans. But with these business credit cards, they're all from major banks. They come with zero interest, and they're much easier to get than compared to a traditional business loan or even a line of credit, because they're going to require you to provide tax returns and financials. And a lot of investors, especially new ones, and pretty much all of them, have a hard time with the whole proving of income and getting approved for loans and lines of credits. So when we go and we apply for these business credit cards, it's much easier for us to get approved. The bank likes lending through those types of loans because it costs them less money. For the most part, it's all automated. Not until we get involved and we get on the phone and we get the decision maker at the bank on the phone and review each application with a human being to make sure it's actually being decisioned appropriately. Because 9 times out of 10, when we apply for someone and it comes back as a denial initially, that gets overturned after they review it, because we don't apply for people unless they have good credit, right? So we know that they should be approved based on the criteria. We know what the banks want. So when we apply and someone comes back with a denial, or maybe just like a $2,000 or $5,000 limit as the auto approval, that never stays. It's never going to just stay with whatever they decision initially, because we get on and we have them manually review it, and that changes everything. It turns accounts from 10,000 into 100,000, and that happens all the time, like every day. Like we on the webinar, we show people, we show them the initial auto approval column, which is mostly zeros when we initially apply. And that's what happens to most people when they apply, even people with 750s. We hear about it all the time. I applied, but they told me I don't have any business credit history, so they denied me, even though I have a 750. That's because it's automatically denied by the computer. Once we get involved and we speak with the decision maker who we're on the phone with every day at the bank, we say, look, this client has great credit. I know they don't have any prior business credit history, but they have the personal credit. Let's get them approved. And then boom, 99% of the time we have the decision overturned. And that's why we're able to get such high amounts of funding so consistently, because a lot of people are like, why can't I do it on my own? I have good credit. And that's why you can't do it on your own, because a lot of times they won't approve you and you won't know what to do, and you'll just kind of have to take the decision, and it kind of burns, and that's it. But with us, it's a whole different ballgame. That's why people hire us. And that's why we're able to get up to 150,000 within 2 weeks.
That's a quick turnaround to get money. Now, what I love is that you guys really do all the work for us as investors. Now, we as investors, we make money when we when we find properties, we buy properties, we get them rented out. That's how we make money. And if it takes a lot of our time to get financing, that really bogs everything down. It sounds like you guys have a one-stop shop to get business financing to get properties. Now, what I love to do, like I said before, I love buying properties with cash. However, quick ways, rather than going through a mortgage company, getting a 30-year loan. I love buying it with cash and then refinancing and pull all that cash back out later. This is a whole nother option where you use your business credit to buy the property with cash, and then you refinance it shortly after and pull the cash out and go ahead and pay off that business credit. There's so many great options with this. Now, is there any other way to access the money? We talked about wire, we talked about using it as a credit card, but then also doing it as a physical check. Is there any other way to access the money, or are those the main ways?
Yeah, well, a lot of times I didn't even touch on this. They'll give you convenience checks, and some of you probably have already seen what I'm talking about on your personal cards. They'll basically give you a check, and you can just, deposit that check and into your account. So those are nice, but that's not always happening. I'm not going to lie to you and make it sound like it's that easy. There's just always convenience checks available, but on some of the accounts, they do have that option. So you can do a balance transfer that way and move the money that way at zero interest. But the primary way that we see a lot of people doing this is using plastic so that they can send the wires, and then using the money that way is really what we're seeing happen most. And then people are using them just as the credit card as well for their business expenses. What's cool is you get rewards points on these accounts. So you can get free travel. You can be traveling first class completely free just because you're spending money on these accounts instead of doing it all cash. So if you're going to do a deal, you can even cover half the deal using these credit lines, send in 50,000 to the title company, and the other, 50 or whatever it is, you can come out of pocket with, or you can get your private lender to do the other deal, half the deal on it. And that way you're bringing in a lot of rewards points, but you're also not taking all the cash out of your bank account either.
I love that idea. I think that's a great idea to utilize that, but then also getting the bonuses as well. And so when I'm thinking about using a business line of credit, I'm thinking of all these different options. And Fund and Grow is basically, and so everybody, I'm recapping for everybody. You're basically getting a business line of credit. It's going to have a credit card. You're also going to be able to do wire transfers, which is absolutely amazing for us in our business. We use wire transfers all the time, or I've done so many, like I can't even count how many wire transfers I've done to buy properties. And you can also even use it as a check as well. Now, as soon as we borrow, that's when we got to start paying on it, right? Even though it's a 15 years, and I want to make sure everybody, 15 months, I want to make sure everybody understands they can get us 0% for a year or 15 months or maybe more. That's amazing to be able to get that. And people might say, well, but I'm gonna have to pay a fee for, maybe 2.7% for a wire transfer. I'm gonna have to pay for a fee for this or that. Well, honestly, that's a business expense. If you are doing your business right, you're accounting for that business expense inside the business before you buy the property. That's already accounted for, and the business is taking care of that. But here's the thing I want you guys to think about. If you don't use funding and you don't have funding to buy a property, are you even going to have a property to start making money? No, you're not, because you need money to get that business rolling, and this is a great, great option. Well, Mike, is there anything else that we may have missed or anything else that we should know about Fund and Grow?
No, I think we covered everything pretty much. We do have a 60-day refund window. So if you don't get credit, if you don't qualify and you take action, and then, let's say we pull your credit and then we find out that there's something wrong with your credit, we'll let you know right away in the first week. And then you can say, all right, I'll do credit repair, or all right, I'll make my pay downs to bring my balances down a little bit. And then, or you can say, I can't do any of that. I just want a refund, whatever. As long as we haven't already started getting you credit, then you have that refund option, just for peace of mind for a lot of people who are thinking about doing it, because there is an upfront fee. You can split it up into payment plans. So you could split it up into really small payments, but there is an upfront fee for it. We do have a performance-based option, but it's much more expensive, and we really don't see many people taking that option at all because it costs so much more. Even though you don't put any money down up front, you end up paying a lot more on the back end. So with the 12-month membership, you cap your fee and you get a $500 discount, and you can bring in a partner with you. So if you have a spouse, a family member, a friend, business partner, you can buy our membership, and then you can add another person into your membership, and we'll apply for credit for both of you, which is essentially getting you service for both people and for the cost of one person, which is a big deal. It could double the amount of funding that you get. So a lot of people do take advantage of that. And that's under the membership deal. But other than that, no, I think we covered everything. I mentioned, that we're doing 12 to 15 million a month. We've got over 1,500 positive reviews online, and we really care about our clients. We're growing. I've been with the company 8.5 years. When I was here, small company. Now we're almost to 40 employees. So we're very, we're very legitimate. We're people that really care about what we do. We don't want a bad name or bad reputation or anything like that. And you'll see that working with us. It's really easy to communicate and work with us. So I think I covered everything though.
That's great. Now, what is the yearly membership, or at least currently, what's the yearly membership that we would pay?
Normally it's
monthly?
$4,000, but we're going to do a $500 discount. So you can get up to $250,000. Some people get more than that. And all it would cost you would be the $3,500. And you can split it up into payment plans. So you could put down $1,000, pretty much $1,000, $1,300 today or whenever you were ready. And then that'll start the process. We can begin applying. And then 2 weeks later, you could have $100,000 in your hands. And then you can just pay the balance of what you owe us. So you could start for $1,300, and then we get the credit, and then you pay the rest off. So, for $3,500, you're getting 12 months of our service, getting your credit built to the maximum possible, potential that you would have. And you don't have to do any of it. You don't have to sit on hold with the banks. You don't have to, apply and hope it works. We know what we're doing. So when we take you to the bank, when we start applying, you're going to get substantial results. So, that's the cost. There's a 60-day refund period, and you can add your partner or spouse for free. So make sure you go to the link. Don't go to our website directly, because you'll see the price will be $39.97, $4,000. So you won't get the discount if you don't go through Dustin's link.
So the link, and I'll put it in the show notes. It's if you go to masterpassiveincome.com/fund and grow, just spell it all out, fund and grow, you'll get that $500 discount for working with Fund and Grow. But honestly, it's a business expense, and we would not have a business if we weren't able to utilize money like this. And so this is a great, great option for a lot of people. So, hey, Mike, thank you so much for being here on the show. It was very, very informative, and I hope that a lot of people get a lot of good use out of it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Dustin. And I feel the same way. Hopefully people go to the link, book a call with us. We'll pre-qualify you, tell you exactly how much we feel you're going to get in the next couple of weeks. And then if you want to take action on the $500, that's great. And we look forward to working with you.
Great. All right, Mike. Thank you a lot, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.